entering the studios of Creative Conversations with Dr. C. You are entering the studios of Creative Conversations with Dr. C.
Welcome to the conversation.
Well, hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to another edition of Creative Conversations with Dr. C. I am Dr. C. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. This month is March, and March is what? Women's History Month. And I told you, we got some phenomenal women that are going to be coming on the stage this month. And I am equally grateful for this next guest that we're getting ready to have. So today's conversation is really about grit. What is grit? Your definition, right? It's about growth, right? It's about changing barriers or changing the dynamics in the narrative of what we see in today's world. So today's guest is Miss Daphane F. Smith. Miss Daphane F. Smith is a trailblazer in my eyes. She is redefining what it means to be in a male-dominant industry. So tonight's conversation is about how she navigates that world each and every day. And I'm just grateful to hear what she has to say, because when we talked about it initially, I was like puzzled, like, really? I would have never thought that women would be a part of the steel mill. So guess what? Tonight, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it with Miss Daphane F. Smith. So please welcome her to the program. Well, hello, Miss Daphane Smith. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am, girl, it's been a rough day, but it is so wonderful to see your beautiful face. I was just telling the audience, I am so grateful for this month. This month is Women's History. And we had the opportunity to really talk about what that meant. And so when we had our conversation, we talked about this male-dominant industry of the steel mill. And so I was like, what? Now, I know every time I look up and I think about men, never about the women of steel. So today's conversation is all about you, Miss Smith. It's all about you. So I am so grateful that you joined and actually took on the invitation to come on the program and celebrate your story. And that it's about us this month. Really, it's really about us all year round. And they just give us like 30 something days to celebrate it. So, but we're going to talk and make it about you today. So with that being said, tell us a little bit about your journey in the steel mill, and just tell the audience what that entails.
Well, I will say I never, ever imagined being a steel worker. Had never even really heard of U.S. Steel, and I was born and raised right in Gary, Indiana. Never really heard about the steel mill. But what I did hear about, or always heard about, was Standard Oil, which is now BP Amoco. And we would drive past these big old tanks, and I always said, "Ooh, I want to work there. Wow. I want to work there when I grow up." Well, back in 2006, I actually did start working at BP Amoco Oil. Okay. Started working there. Yes, I worked for their chemical plant. Mm-hmm. And in 2005, BP Amoco sold their chemical plant. It was called Innovine. And they sold it to a company by the name of Ineos from the UK. But it was...
Oh, you're freezing.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Well, we lost her. Technology is something else.
Yes. So...
You don't see your face. We hear you.
I can see. I don't know what happened, but I can see my face.
We can't see you on this end.
I don't know what happened. It just glitched.
Oh, I don't know. This modern technology, I tell you, it ain't is for the birds. What happened to just picking up
I
the
don't
phone?
even hear you now.
You can't hear me. Oh my goodness. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties, of course.
No, I
Hopefully,
can't hear you. Said my
I don't know
microphone
what
is on.
happened. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can't hear anymore.
Hmm.
No.
How about trying to go out and coming back in and see if that works?
Okay.
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 So we'll wait for you. Sorry, my audience. We are working on some technical difficulties on Miss Smith's behalf. But as I said, thank you for those who are joining us. We really appreciate you guys. And Miss Grace, of course, we could not live with us as women, right? So I agree. God bless all women. We bring so much to the table. And Miss, is it Shalonda? Amen. Exactly. We bring so much to the table. And I want to make sure that we celebrate our women this month, showcasing our stories, because we need to make sure that we are present at the table for our next generation of women that are coming up. So we'll give Miss Smith a little bit of time to try to join back in. But again, thank you for all of the people that are joining tonight. I really, really appreciate this. So let's see if we can get her back on stage. Can you hear me now?
Still
Hello?
can't hear.
You
What is
can't
going
hear
on?
me.
Still can't hear. I can't
Hmm.
hear you.
You can't hear me. I can hear you very clearly. See, that's the devil playing with us tonight. They don't want us to tell our story, but we're going to tell our story tonight.
No, I cannot hear you. My microphone is on.
I can hear you. I can't see you. I was able to see you. Now I can't see you.
You know what? I'm gonna try to log in from my
Okay, that's fine. I know that's right, Miss Alicia. We're gonna rebuke that devil and we're gonna step on his head tonight because we're gonna definitely have this conversation tonight. We definitely are going to have this conversation. It is a well-needed conversation because I believe that a lot of people, as Miss Smith said, a lot of people, when they think about the steel mill, they don't think about women and the contribution that they make to this industry. So we definitely need to have this conversation tonight. Hello, can you hear me now?
no volume.
I can hear you. Can you hear
Let's
me?
see. Let's see. Okay.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can't?
I can. I can hear you. I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
What? Are you
Are
still
you?
logged
I
in?
can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, okay. See,
Oh my
see,
goodness. I don't
it's
know.
called prayer. It is called
Right.
prayer. Thank you, Lord. We need to have this conversation. See, the devil is trying to be busy.
Let me log back.
So
Okay. So I
you
want
got
to.
it?
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know
cool.
what it is. I couldn't hear you. So
It's okay. So you were saying that you started about 13 years ago at the
mhm.
steel mill. So
Yes. It's
continue.
years. So actually, what happened was uh, the chemical plant closed at BP at the end of 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't working and I was just looking for a job. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try US Steel. So I actually tried US Steel.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I applied, I actually got an interview.
Mm-hmm.
I took the test, interview, got the job. So that was like November 2012. And that's when I started working there. I started in a
Mm-hmm.
lab, so testing samples and different things like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so um, at that time when I worked there, we had two different labs. We had a lab that was on our lines, and then we had a main lab that worked straight days. I worked around the clock. And
Mm-hmm.
in that lab at that time, I was the only female in the line lab. But the thing about that is, I always had people that were willing to help. The men were always willing to help in that lab.
Okay.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what? And I'm not gonna say all of them, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, they were willing to help. And
Mm-hmm.
um, I was always able to catch on to things easily, and
Mm-hmm.
that's something that the men admired. They
Mm-hmm.
actually admired the fact that I caught on so easily because when I first walked in there, I saw all these monitors and this test equipment and different things,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, how in the world am I gonna learn all of this? You know, yeah, I have a background in chemical. I was like, well, there's nothing like this. So how in the world
Right.
am I gonna learn all of this? You know, but
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't. It became easy to me.
Mm-hmm.
So and I've been there ever since November 2012. It's been times when I want to say, you know what, forget this. I'm quitting. I don't even want,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But for the most part, um, I do love my job. I will say that. I will say I love it. It's some days I go in there and it's like I don't even want to be here, but I go
Mm-hmm.
smile
That's
on my
like most jobs, though. That's just like
yeah.
most jobs. I agree. It's most jobs. It's really, from what I'm hearing, it's just sheer determination that you wanted to do something different, and being able to catch on quickly is one of those things that you have to do when you're in. But and not just this industry, in any industry, right? Because you're the new kid on the block. You're trying to figure out, where do I fit in at? And it sounds like you fit in really good because you caught on quickly. So being in this industry itself, being a woman, and having to be in a male, almost a male dominant industry, and those men who gravitated to you because of your sheer determination, what did you do with the ones that said, you know what, uh, I'm gonna brush her to the side. If she asks me a question, I'm not gonna even ask her. What did you do in that moment? What in your mind clicked to say, you know what, I'm gonna do it even better? Or what was that thought process?
You know what? I didn't have any guys or men that brushed me to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll say that I'm a people person, and
Okay.
um, I'm very good at having a conversation with anyone, regardless.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so I like to kind of break the ice a little bit when I talk to people, and I'll joke around a little bit to make them,
Mm-hmm.
be more relaxed, or
Mm-hmm.
not so much, and even caught off guard, because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times they don't expect some things from people, like
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And so I would like tell a little joke or something, or
Mm-hmm.
like laugh, or
Mm-hmm.
do something silly or something like that.
Right.
And it made them feel more relaxed or whatever. So I've never had a problem with any of them brushing me to the side or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
as far as learning a job.
Mm-hmm.
And quite honestly, they were doing like the job by themselves. So to have someone else come on to kind
Mm-hmm.
of help out, they were all for that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So a
but
helpmate.
yeah, helpmate. So I stayed
Right.
in that department for about 7 years. I left that department. It was the lab.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to what we call the production side. That's when you're
Uh-huh.
actually on the line, where
Mm-hmm.
they're making steel, and different things like that. So I went to the production side. Had never did
Right.
production. For 7 years I was in the lab, testing samples, doing paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
Never had to worry about production. And with production, it's a whole different beast, because it's like sometimes it's no room for mistakes. Like, this is
Yeah.
where they're making the actual product, and sending
Mm-hmm.
it to the customer. So
Mm-hmm.
it's basically kind of like no room for error. So I went to production, and like I said, it was a whole different world to me. And I'm
Right.
like, I never did this. So learning like different like machinery and stuff, or uh dealing with different controls and different stuff like that, that wasn't my expertise. I didn't know how to do
Mm-hmm.
that type of stuff. And I'm telling you, like, when I went to this different department, like,
Uh-huh.
for years, it's like I don't want to be here. Like, I'm telling you, when I rebellious, you talking about
Yeah.
somebody rebellious?
Of
Like, I
course.
did not want to do it, because I'm like, I don't understand. And you get in trouble for making certain mistakes, and I'm like, if I get in trouble, I'm gonna start crying. Like, stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. But
That's human nature, though. That's human nature, especially when we're coming against something that is unfamiliar to us. We want to kind of shy away because people are dependent on you. You're talking about, I don't know, $1 million contracts, or whoever these people are you're making this product for. They expect a certain quality. So yeah, that's a lot on somebody's shoulder who's just walking into something who is unfamiliar territory first, number one, and coming from a lab into production, something that you're unfamiliar to with. I can see that totally. I can see that totally.
so yeah, I mean,
So
rebellious. That was me. Like, I don't want to
I
be
can
here.
see that. I can see that. I can see that. But then once you get comfortable, then you understand the dynamics of what that role presents each and every day. So now that it sounds like you've done 7 years in the lab. Now you're on production. Are you currently on production?
Yeah,
Okay.
I am.
So if we look at the dynamics, which one would you prefer to be doing, the lab or production?
I would prefer the lab, but the money is basically in production, because we get incentives. So
Oh, okay.
in the
Okay.
lab, in the lab, the incentive is like very little, but in
Uh-huh.
production on the line, when you're working on the line, the incentive is a lot better, and that's extra on top of
Mhm.
what your hourly pay is. So the money is better in production,
Mhm.
but as far as like the responsibility, or like, I would say, a little stress, it's more
Mhm.
stress in production than it is in the lab.
Okay. So can you explain, because I'm learning as you're speaking. Can you explain to the audience what your job, when you say testing samples, how does the samples relate to what you're doing in production? How does that correlate with one another?
Well, that part, when I was working in the lab testing samples, what I would do is, like, you had a machine that basically did everything. like the
Oh.
machine that would test the oil on the steel,
Mhm.
or you had a machine that would test if it was enough coating on there. You got another
Oh,
machine
okay.
that would test the hardness of the steel. So the machine
Mhm.
did all that when I was in the lab. So now that I'm in production, actually I am an edge inspector. So what I have to do is every coil that comes off the line, and this, like, we can run anywhere from like 150 some coils in a turn. I work 12-hour shifts.
Ooh,
So
okay.
150 some coils in a turn, and you have to make sure that each one of those coils is measured the right width. I have
Mhm.
to make sure that they have the correct amount of oil on there. I have to make sure that it's cut, like the cut is correct. The
Mhm.
edge part of it, I have to make sure that it's cut correctly. So
Mhm.
now it's like I'm going out there physically making sure that everything is, okay with this coil. Whereas before in the lab, the machine, I put it in the machine and punch a button and it gives me a reading.
Mm.
So
So this
that
is more hands-on.
this
This
is
part is more hands-on.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
both were kind of hands on, but this is a little bit more because with the lab, we actually had two people doing
Mhm.
a job in the lab. So I had my job in the lab, and the other
Mm.
person had their job. So
Mhm.
we we split the work. So
Mhm.
with this, it's like it is a lot more hands on,
Mhm.
and like I said, it's a lot more responsible because you have to make sure that you do your part. Everybody
Mhm.
has a part to do, a different
Mhm.
part to do.
Mhm.
And it's not like, well, if my part goes undone, everything is okay because everybody else did their part. No, it's each individual.
Mhm.
So one person doing their part, I'm doing my part. I have to make sure that, my part is done
Mhm.
correctly. So it's like I said, it's a lot more responsibility. It can be stressful at times,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
the responsibility is huge. It's
Yeah.
huge.
So, because when I was doing a little bit of research for this interview, the steel mill or the steel industry is $1 billion industry, and you're talking about steel is in everything that we can think of. So the responsibility is great when you're talking about working with others. So when I listen to that, I listen to the fact that it's really about teamwork because one part has to come together to make a whole. And when somebody else doesn't do their part, there can be some deadly consequences to that. So, what lessons have you learned in working in the industry? What have you learned over these years that has prepared you? It could be, prepared you for the real world because you say you do 12-hour shifts. Explain the 12-hour shifts and how many 12-hour shifts do you do?
Well, I work what we call an alternative work schedule
Okay.
because at the steel mill they have three shifts. They
Okay.
have 7 to 3, 3 to 11, 11 to 7 shift.
Mm-hmm.
So I work an alternative work schedule, which we work 12-hour shifts. So the most amount of days I work in a row is 12. I mean 5 days in a row. Work 5 days in a row for 12 hours, and then I'm off probably like 5 or 6 days. So
Mm,
yeah, so we get the time off, but you got to put the
the
time
work
in.
in.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's days or midnights.
So, do you find that there's work-life balance in that when you're doing 12-hour shifts and then having this 5 or 6 days off? Is there a work-life balance that you find in this type of schedule?
You know what? And I was thinking about that earlier because I think that a lot of times when people ask questions, it's like work-life balance, and
Mhm.
I would say that each time I work, it's like I'm doing something different to find that balance.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Like when I work 5 days straight, my first off day, I will not leave the house. I will not even
Mm,
put any. I stay in my pajamas the entire day because I'm exhausted. And
mhm,
I won't say that my job is always physically. It doesn't physically exhaust me,
But like getting up in the morning to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning, working 12-hour shifts, like for
Hmm.
5 days, like, even though I am a spring chicken, I'm
Oh yeah,
young,
we all are. You know, black don't crack. You know how to go. Hmm.
so it's like that first day I'm sleeping.
Right.
I'm
Right.
resting. I sleep. Not so much sleeping, but I'm in the house resting. I'm not doing
Hmm.
anything. I don't even leave out of the house. If I
Hmm.
leave out of the house that first off day, it's rare. Somebody probably calls
Right.
and say, "Do you want to go out to breakfast or something?" But other than that, I'm in the house.
Yeah.
Um, and with me, it's the reason why I find different ways because it's like my mind is always going as far as
Hmm.
how to help someone.
Okay.
Um, because of the organization that I'm in, um,
Hmm.
within the union that I'm in. So it's like, um, no soon as I get done with like maybe one event, before I can even get finished with that, it's like my mind is racing.
Racing
So
for something else.
it's racing for something else. And
Hmm.
um, I was just thinking today, like, I need to make more time, try to make more time for my family,
Hmm.
and spend more time with my family. So it's like you still try to find that work life balance. It seems like
Hmm.
I don't know of anyone that has found that work life balance because
Mm.
it's always it's gonna always be something. And
Right.
um, I know sometimes with me it's like, well, I don't want to wait to do that. I want to do it now. So
Hmm.
I don't want to wait
Hmm.
to do it. And I know I've realized that some things I will have to. I can wait. I can wait to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? And if it's
Hmm.
not there when I get to go and do it, then it wasn't meant for me.
For you to do it.
It
Exactly.
wasn't
I
meant for
agree.
me to do it, especially when
I
it
agree.
comes to other things and like helping other people and stuff like that. Not that I don't
Mhm.
want to, but
Right.
I because I've been trying to find that work life balance.
Yeah. I think it's, when you have so many hours to work and it's really more of like a mental thing too. Like you said, the first day you just want to relax and just relax and get myself together. Because a lot of times what I've told a lot of people in my walk of life, because I'm a part of the healthcare industry, stress is so prominent, and people don't realize stress will kill us. So having the ability to have the work life balance, whether it means staying in your pajamas the first day that you're off, or just today I'm going to go and just pamper me, we need to still understand that it's important that we do have or carve out the time to spend on ourselves. If that's selfish, then okay, we're going to be selfish for ourselves, right? And that's okay. But we need to understand that that's important in order for us to get back up to do those next 5 days of 12-hour shifts. Because if we're not mentally there to do it, then why are we there? Right? Because again, as you said, it's important that what we do is it's important. It's a key element that we all do it together. So if we're not mentally yoked to do these things, then we need to find an outlet to get ourselves to that point. So we always want to make sure that there's always a work-life balance. Um, please, thank you for the people that are joining us tonight. Please put in the chat your comments or questions that you have for Ms. Smith, and I will show them on the screen. Um, so I'm gonna show that one. So work-life balance isn't in my vocabulary. Really, I work 12-hour shifts also. So I'm assuming WOS is Women of Steel, correct?
Correct.
So
Hey,
you
Miss
got
Monroe.
some support in this group. Thank you, ladies, Women of Steel, for coming out to support Miss Smith. I truly appreciate it, and I know she does too. So there was a comment in there that says self-care is so important. I would agree, definitely. So
Right.
self-care is important. So my question, I do have a couple more questions for you, Miss Smith. So when we talked about the self-care, right? So as you're working on this line, right? What advice would you give to young women that who have decided to do a non-traditional career like working at the steel mill? What advice, or did somebody give you advice before you started this career? What advice would you give them?
Well, um, no one actually gave me any advice.
Mhm.
Um, but I will say this: I know me better than anybody out there, just like you know you better than anybody out there. And so
Mhm.
I would always, I told this to a group of young ladies last month: never let anyone tell you what you cannot do. You know what you can do, you know your capabilities better than anybody.
Yes.
Because even in, like I say, in this male dominated industry, you gonna have some men that say, "Oh, you can't do that. You're not gonna even
Mhm.
last long."
Mhm.
And that's the thing. You know you better than anybody, and
Exactly.
never let them tell you what you can't do.
Mhm. Mhm.
If I choose not to do it, that's my choice. Not that I can't
Right.
do it. I've always been I won't say I'm not a competitor, but it's always, I never like to um say that I can't do something. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna keep
Mhm.
doing it until I figure it out.
Mhm.
That's just me. It's
Mhm.
like I'm competing with myself. That's what
Yeah.
I compete with myself. I don't compete with
Mhm.
anybody else to try to outdo someone else. This
Mhm.
is something personal for me because
Mhm.
I want to do things to the best of my ability. So I
Mhm.
always tell, and like I just saw someone flash on the screen, don't get discouraged. Hey Tracy,
Mhm.
don't get discouraged because you
Yeah.
will have people that discourage you. And
Mhm.
men, but women also. You have other women that may try to be discouraging as well.
Mhm.
And
Of
see,
course.
with this being Women's History Month, women have to stick together. You know, where I work at, we have probably 1,400 people there, and
Mhm.
we may have 100 women where I work.
Mm.
Because I work on U.S. Steel, and Gary has an east side and a west side. I work on the west side, and like I said, it's probably
Mhm.
over 1,400 people that work out there, and
Mhm.
we may have 100 women out there.
Mhm.
I checked. I think I checked or asked maybe last year, year before last, and we had
Mhm.
like 90 women at the time.
Wow.
90
So
women.
it's important that we do. And it's interesting that you say that, Ms. Smith, because I had a conversation with someone the other day, and the conversation was about this myth that we are always angry Black women, right? And so I had to really step back and really understand that question because I've heard it all my life. But I'm like, what makes us angry, right? What makes us angry? What makes us feel as women we have to compete against another woman? And what I said to this particular person, I said, there's enough at the table for us all. There's no need for us to compete because we have diversity. And diversity breeds the understanding that I might not know something. However, my sisters around the table who are willing to partake of that knowledge will give it to me because they're not looking at the level of how they get there. Because if they get there, they're going to pull the other sister up with them. So we have to remember that the angry back myth has to be dispelled, but we need to do it in action form. And action form means that we're pulling each other up by the whatever that is, the shirt tail, whatever you want to call it. We are our best advocates as women. And with this society that we're in already, we have to really again put it in action. So being able to understand that dynamics of being my sister's keeper is so important, because as we look at the next generation, as I indicated to you about the advice, the next generation of young women, even young men, are looking at us, so we have to set the example. So I really wanted to say that because it really dawned on me, and matter of fact, it happened earlier this week. But I was like, that's an interesting conversation. And I'm going to get back with you because at the time that they said it, I wasn't in the best frame of mind. So I really wanted to get myself together and have a politically correct answer for them, because I really didn't want them to see the angry Black woman. Right. So, but that being said, let's talk about, you indicated that you are a part of another something within your union, that you do a lot of, I guess, giving back and going out to the community. Tell the audience a little bit about that.
So I am a part of an organization called Women of Steel. Women
Okay.
of Steel is okay. So you have United Steelworkers. This big
Mm-hmm.
called United Steelworkers. It's comprised of healthcare workers, steel
Mm-hmm.
workers, glass makers, plastic makers. You even have people that work at Starbucks that are in United Steelworkers. I met a lady in uh, who's an actress. She was in
Mm-hmm.
United Steelworkers. She's actually in some of Tyler Perry's movies, right? I mean, his TV shows. She's been on House of Pain.
Mm-hmm.
So she is in United Steelworkers. So you have United Steelworkers, and then you have organizations within United Steelworkers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm in an organization called Women of Steel.
Okay.
Women of Steel, one of our missions as Women of Steel is to educate other women,
Mm-hmm.
within USW to become leaders in either whether it's the community or even leadership roles within their union or whatever
Mm-hmm.
this is. And another one is community service. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, helping out in the community. So when I started at US Steel, a young lady told me about Women in Steel, and I went to the meetings and kind of like got involved, but not so much. Just a
Mm-hmm.
little bit here and there, whatever. Um, I've always, and I thank God for this, I've always didn't know it, but now I do. Had a knack for coming up with good ideas to do
Mm-hmm.
things.
Creativity.
Creativity. Thank you. But
You're welcome.
I always wanted to help,
Mm-hmm.
but I always wanted to be in the background helping. If you
Mm-hmm.
needed help, let me know I help, and then
Mm-hmm.
I call back.
Mm-hmm.
So been in this organization in and out. So a couple of years ago, the chair that we have now came to me and was like, "Look, I know you don't like titles. I know you don't even want to be. You want to stay in the background. I understand."
Mm-hmm.
She
Mm-hmm.
said, "But I'm asking you if you want to be the co-chair." And I'm like, "What?" Already
Mm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, so I decided to say yes. So I said yes, and so I became the co-chair, and
Mm-hmm.
just trying to come up with ways to not only bring the women together,
Mm-hmm.
but also to help in the community. And the thing is, we didn't do a lot of community stuff too much because my thinking was, how are we going to help the community if we don't be together ourselves?
That's true.
So just trying to bring the women together,
Mm-hmm.
and just been trying to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and helping the community and things like that. And sometimes you just have to go ahead and even if you have a few people, just go ahead and just help, which is what we actually started doing.
Mm-hmm. So
So
what have you done so far in the community? I know we kind of talked briefly about some things that you guys have done over the last few months, the course of this year. It's just March. So you guys have done some things. I think last month, if I'm not mistaken, I saw something that you guys did for Valentine's Day.
well,
So tell the audience a little bit about some of the things that you guys are doing in the community.
so the thing for Valentine's Day, it was actually for Heart Health Month.
Okay.
That was something that we did each quarter. So U.S. Steel, I mean United Steelworkers is divided into districts. You have District
Mm-hmm.
1 all the way up to I think to like maybe 14, or you have districts. So each district is divided into subs.
Mm-hmm.
So I am in District 7 and I'm in sub 5. So every quarter, the women of steel of District 7, sub 5 get together and have quarterly meetings. And we
Mm-hmm.
talk about different things, whether it's safety in the workplace, um,
Mm-hmm.
the dynamics of a woman, and like basically us as women, we
Mm-hmm.
can't live like men can. So things like that and stress in the workplace. So
Mm-hmm.
we talk about different topics. We get together,
Mm-hmm.
we break bread, we laugh, we
Mm-hmm.
talk about those things as far as like in the workplace. And so that event was for our meeting. But
Mm-hmm.
in February, and this is like my second year doing it, we in Gary, because I wanted to give back in Gary because that's where the U.S. Steel that I work at is in Gary, and that's where our union is. Our union. I'm in local 1066, so our union is in Gary. So
Mm-hmm.
my
Mm-hmm.
thing was to give back to the community that U.S. Steel is in, and that
Mm-hmm.
1066 is in. So I try to focus on Gary. So what we did was Gary now has one high school, one public high school. So we
Mm-hmm.
went from oh my ton six, maybe six. Let's see, one, two, three, four. I could 5 or 6 high schools. So now we Gary
Mm-hmm.
has one high school. So what I started last year, I said, let's do let's have a hat giveaway,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be hats, hot cocoa, and conversation.
Oh, I
So we
love
gave
that. I love that.
away we gave away winter hats. Um, we bought hot cocoa, we sugared them up. It'd be like 9 o'clock in the morning. We sugared them up with donuts, muffins,
Bouncing up stuff.
cookies. We did it for the senior girls, the high school girls. So
Okay.
we did that in February.
Mm-hmm.
We also with we the the thing that you saw for Valentine's Day, which it was heart health.
Mm-hmm.
We collected toiletries for a it's a crisis center in Gary in the Miller
Mm-hmm.
area. We
Mm-hmm.
collected a lot of toiletries and different things that I'm meeting to donate to them. So those are two of the things that we've
Mm-hmm.
done this year. At the end of last year, the same crisis center, we donated like pajamas and different stuff there. But what
Mm-hmm.
also I had been doing was every year, I started with Westside. I graduated from Westside High School. And like I said, it's the only high school in the area. So we started giving Thanksgiving baskets to,
Uh-huh.
we started out doing 3 families at Westside High School. So
Mm-hmm.
we started like in 2000, I want to say 18,
Mm-hmm.
2018 or 19, we started giving out Thanksgiving baskets to the high
Mm-hmm.
school in Gary. So each year, like we would give 3. So for a couple of years, we gave 3. Then we upped it to 5. Then I said, you know what? Let's
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and give to all the public schools in Gary. So we gave it to the high school. We gave baskets to the high school, the middle school, the elementary school. I think that year we ended up giving out like 30 something baskets for
That is
Thanksgiving.
wonderful. That is truly wonderful because again, as I continue to say, the climate that we're in, we have to be more empathetic with our giving because we never know, we could be in that situation before we know it. So having the ability to have a giving heart is so important. So kudos to you and your women of steel to be able to give back, because we need to do that more so often than we are doing. And so kudos to what you guys are doing in the community. I did. I know we kind of talked offline about me wanting to get involved with some things that you guys are doing in Gary. I didn't share with the audience, but I'm also was born in Gary, Indiana, as well too. So that's my stumping grounds, even though I'm in the beautiful state of North Carolina at this moment. So we kind of talked a little bit about some things that I want to be able to also partner up with you and some of the things that you guys are doing and donating from. Not only do I have this podcast or this platform, I also own a publishing company. So I want to make sure that I be able to donate some books to some schools that you're going to, as well as potentially coming and speaking to some of your women, because I just dropped a book in regards to unleashing your fierce persona, and it really works into what we're talking about women history and about allowing us to be able to see our worth. So I am so grateful to be able to do that. My contribution back to my stomping grounds from old Methodist Hospital where I was born at. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, but I am equally grateful to do that as well too. So if the people that are currently joining us live, if you have questions for Miss Smith, please put them in the chat so that we can put them on the screen. I thank you, ladies, for being here supporting her, of the Women of Steel. This is truly a phenomenal feeling to understand that we do have women that will celebrate each other and not pull us down. So this is an amazing, amazing night to see the collaboration with the other women that you partner with on a daily basis. And I'm hoping that as we continue this month, that people will see the importance of this community that we have as women. Again, we have so much to give and so much to give to the next generation. And I think these conversations need to have not just for the month of March, but all year round. That we need to have conversations like this all the time. So let's do something a little bit fun. Okay. So I was thinking, so I know you guys go in with your steel boots and all that stuff and the gear and all that stuff. So if I was to ask you, which one do you prefer, the steel toe boots or some heels?
Let me see. I can make money with both of them, huh?
Ah, all right. I'm throwing get
Make
spicy
money.
now. I know that's right.
Oh, wee, shoot. Of course, my heels.
Your heels. Okay. How many inches are we talking? How many inches?
I can look. A little bitty,
Hi, Miss
a
Linda.
little bitty heel like that.
Oh, that
A
ain't
little bitty
little.
heel like
You know,
that.
I need, girl, I can't even walk that. You making me seasick with that. Girl, no, I can't even do it.
That's
Miss
what
Linda said, "Hey, cuz, didn't know there's a lot of women in the steel industry. There are a lot of women, and that's why I wanted to bring Miss Smith out here, so to showcase that there are women out here doing the damn thing. Excuse my French, but they doing it. And so when we look at these buildings that are being built up in these metropolitan areas, think of these women that are on the line, on the line, doing those inspections so that they can go in those buildings. So again, we got to showcase what we're working with. You know, we're not just we are the creator of life. So
yes, we
it's
are.
nothing that we cannot do.
And that's
Um,
why we need us out there. That's why they
that's
need
why.
us in these
That's exactly why.
male dominated industries because we have that nurturing in us. And
Mm-hmm,
like, we're very careful. We're very
mm-hmm,
careful and cautious, because these places we work in, they're not the safest places to work in.
mm-hmm,
They're
mm-hmm,
dangerous. Even I think one of my friends, Michelle, was on there. She works at BP. These
mm-hmm,
we work in dangerous work environments. And so
mm-hmm,
I'm always trying to be cautious and aware, you know,
mm-hmm,
um,
mm-hmm.
and be
Safety
safe.
first, always.
Yes.
Miss Danielle indicated, so any woman can join even if they're not working at the steel mill?
Um, Women of Steel. You can be an honorary women of steel.
All
Women
right.
Women of Steel is any woman that is a part of United Steelworkers. So yeah,
I believe this is the Michelle that you were talking about.
hey, beautiful. I
Yes.
met Michelle. This is really funny. I'll be quick.
Mm-hmm.
But when I worked at BP, this was like back in 2005. I started out as security.
Oh.
2005, and from 2000, like November 2005 to probably around um, July, August, somewhere of 2006. I started working um, in security. It was a brand
Okay.
new position that they had just created. It was security, but it was working in like their traffic department,
Mm-hmm.
uh, weighing the trucks that came in. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's where I started, and that's where I met Michelle. And
Oh
I
wow.
didn't know at the time when she saw me on Facebook, and
Mm-hmm.
I went to a rally that
Mm-hmm.
Local 7-1 is having. They're actually in contract negotiations now, and BP is being stubborn, like all these billion-dollar companies like to do, be
Mm.
stubborn.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
went to a rally, and then I posted something on Facebook, and she
Uh-huh.
said, "Did you used to work in the security office at BP or whatever?" And I was like, yeah, whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, "It's me, Michelle." Like she said, we would sit in the office and talk for hours. And I got to thinking, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember that was like years ago. She was like, "I wonder what happened to you." She said, "Me and another lady was just talking about you the other day." I said, "I ended
Mm-hmm.
up working for the company. I
Mm-hmm.
worked security. I worked security. So I worked for a contractor called Initial Security. I started
Mm-hmm.
with them November 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Around April 2006, one of the men came that worked for the BP chemical plant, came and was like, "How would you like to be an operator, an outside operator?" I was like, "Me?" He said, "Yes." He was like,
Mm.
I said, "I don't know how to do that work." He said, "We'll train you to do the work." I'm like,
Wow.
"Okay." I'm like, "Okay." It's like, "We're gonna buy out your contract with Initial Security." He was like, "We see the work that you do." They was like, "You do an amazing job." And I'm like, and so I got hired. Um, just like that. They bought my contract out, um, trained me for 6 months to do
Mm-hmm.
be an outside operator working there. And
Uh-huh.
it was just crazy. But I told her, I said, they end up hiring me to, work for the company itself. So
Mm-hmm.
um
So
and
y'all have a history.
that was 20 years ago. That was 20
Wow.
years ago.
Wow. That's amazing. And the relationships that you build on these floors are so important, you know. Again, being able to work together in unit in a fashion where you don't feel again like it's not competition. It's really about us bridging the gap and making sure that our voices are heard each and every time. And I heard you say you go to rallies. I remember we had a conversation about you went to I want to say DC, and you were at DC, and it was just amazing because that's when it just like this light bulb came on. Like, what do you do? Like, what you do? And so just having the conversation because again, knowledge is power. And so again, these conversations are so well needed to understand. Miss Linda indicated wanted to know what your job entailed. She did tell us about her job, but it just the steps that you take from coming from a lab to the production line is so interesting. But when you were telling me about going to Congress or rallying for Congress, do you see what we're doing? We are an amazing being. We are amazing women. The things that we put our minds to and the things that we do and shaping this world, shaping what we do each and every day is amazing. So kudos to us all. And again, allowing our young women to see what we do, you know, because they're coming behind us. So I just can't say it enough how proud of what we do each and every day. And again, Miss Smith, I thank you for taking on the invitation to have this conversation, because a lot of people don't know you guys are out here and doing such phenomenal work in the community, building our new leaders for tomorrow. So thank you, not just you, but the Women of Steel who are doing the damn thing each and every day. So kudos to you. And this is not the last conversation that we're going to have. We're going to have more conversations because I want people to know that you women are out here. You know, you guys are out here doing these things. And so I want to make sure that you are showcased each and every time I get the opportunity to do so. As long as I got this platform and I'm able to talk, even horse and not, I want to make sure that we are, as women, are uplifting one another. And again, not just for the month of March. Every time we get the opportunity, we need to be showcasing what we do. And it's not a little feat. We are doing a lot of things here each and every day. So again, thank you for taking on the invitation to come and talk about what you do each and every day. So you know I cannot get you off this line without asking you this one last question. You ready? I need you to get yourself right. Get yourself pretty now. Okay. And I'm quite sure, and if anybody out there that's listening, if you want to chime in and put your comments in after I read this question, I will let her see them as well. So it's two parts. It says, when people hear the name Daphne Smith, what do you want them to remember you as?
Oh my. Man, it's so many things. Um, Compassion.
Compassion. Okay. All right. I like that word. I like that word. I like that word. And if anybody wants to chime in with a word, I'll make sure she sees it. Thank you, Miss Linda. Thank you. We're doing this thing. I'm telling you, we're doing this thing. So the last question that I have is, finish this sentence. I am forged by blank, but defined by blank.
Oh my. Oh man. Oh wait. Hmm. I am forced. Wow.
Now, if you don't answer, I'm gonna bring you back so you can answer it. Okay? Don't you worry.
Oh man. Goodness gracious. Hmm.
This is one of
I
the
am.
comments
Oh.
from Miss Grace.
Tremendous amounts of talents are being lost to our society just because that talent wears a skirt. Wow.
Hmm.
And it's sad because it's sad because we don't just wear skirts.
No. And if we did, we do it really well with some really, what you, how many inches? Mm,
Oh, just a small short inch like that. I
yeah,
like
right.
I like y'all. I like heels. I
I
really
can do
do.
a wedge. I can't do
I,
nothing else.
maybe I need to start doing wedges, but I do wear high heels. I actually do wear high heels. Um
I would agree. That is a powerful statement. It is. It
um
is.
ah okay. I would have to say I am. What's the? Give me the other part.
It says, I am forged by blank, but defined by blank. That's a hard one, huh? You want to come back because you got open invitation to come back.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back to that one.
Okay, we're gonna come back on that one. Well, I want to challenge that statement that Miss Grace said. I want to challenge the women in this group tonight. How do we change the narrative about that statement? How do we change the narrative that tremendous amount of talents are being lost to society just because the talent wears skirts? How do we change that narrative? How do we change the narrative so that our girls understand that even though we wear a skirt, my talents should be not be defined by that? How do we change that narrative? And maybe we'll come back and have that conversation with Miss Smith when she figures out the answers to that question that I gave her. Well, I wanted to say we're almost to the end of this conversation, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. Again, thank you, Miss Smith, for taking the opportunity and the time out your busy day, because I know you're probably going to work tomorrow. But I thank you for gracing this stage and allowing people to know what your contribution is to this society, a contribution that many people don't know about. I want to thank you and you and the women of Steel for the tenacity to go out and see that there's some issues and some concerns in your community, and you're taking action to take care of that. So thank you for that. Thank you for just being a woman. Thank you for being who you are and what you represent to this species. Um, do you have any parting words before we get off this line?
I will say that we have been trying to change that narrative for the longest. And it's like whenever we change that narrative, it's like something else comes along. And now it's like we're continually proving ourselves
Mhm,
as women. It
mhm.
just stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, stay true to yourself, your morals, your values.
Mhm,
Don't feel like you need to change yourself because of where you are, who
mhm,
you're working around. You know,
mhm.
just be yourself.
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
that's what helps me because I'm myself. I work around a lot of men. I work around women as well, but
Mhm,
I don't try to change myself to fit in who I'm working around. I'm just myself. I
mhm.
I think the people that I work with appreciate that because I when I'm at work I act goofy. I'm just, and they be like, look, this one guy says, you know, you in front of that camera right there. I'll be like, okay, yeah, they gonna take you out of here in a straight jacket or send you for a drop. They may think you high or something, but I just like to have fun. But I don't allow anyone to change who I am. That's how
Mhm,
I am all the time. I'm that way at work.
mhm,
I'm that way at home. I'm just myself, you know.
mhm. Yeah.
And but I'm a worker. I don't
Mhm,
slack off. I'm a worker. And like I said, we're constantly trying to prove ourselves, you know,
mhm,
in a male
mhm,
dominated industry, and it's kind of sad,
mhm,
but I'm just a worker, and that's just who I am. I'm a worker.
mhm.
And,
And we
uh,
appreciate all the work. Evident your ladies are work. Women still appreciate everything you do each and every day. So it is evidence in these comments that we've seen tonight. And again, I just thank you for again gracing this stage and telling your story. As we say in the publishing industry, everybody has a story to tell, and you've told your story tonight, and I thank you for that.
so much.
Well, we're at the end of this conversation, but never the end of the conversation. As I've always said on my platform, it's important that we take care of one another. Check on those ones that are or you think are strong, because sometimes they just need to know that they are being heard, that they are loved. So if you have not had the opportunity to pick up the phone or text somebody or go by their house to just say, "Look, I was thinking about you because I was just thinking about you." Do that, because guess what? A lot of people are still in that mindset that we're in COVID and that we're stuck in house. So it's okay to go and check on our people, especially now in this industry. What I also want to make sure that we also continue to have the conversation about understanding the importance of keeping ourselves safe. As a person that's been in the healthcare industry forever and a day, as I just told Miss Smith, black don't crack, but I'm older than you probably think I am. But we need to make sure that we're keeping ourselves safe each and every day because we are still in COVID, and the number of measles cases are steadily climbing each and every day. So I really hope that we're keeping ourselves safe each and every day. Before I end tonight, I want to just showcase some women that have had some struggles and they lost their fight, and they're now with God. So I want to just take a moment and just celebrate these women at the bottom of the screen. Miss Wanda Cook, Wanda Stewart Cook, which is my cousin. She will be funeralized tomorrow. She fought the good fight, and so we want to keep her family uplifted. Kelly Watson Holmes, which is my sister's niece, my niece. She lost her battle as well with cancer. Sherry Jackson, who's also another cousin, and a good friend, Sharon Lewis. So we want to make sure that we keep these ladies and these families up, lifted up in prayer. They left a legacy that we want to keep their memory alive. So again, as we end this conversation, remember that you're loved, that we are women with great talents, and that don't slip on them and don't sleep on them because we got a lot to give in this world, and we got a lot to give to the next generation. So, with that being said, I'm going to say good night. And Miss Smith, again, thank you for the conversation, and don't be trying to dodge me because you're getting another invitation. So I will see
Thank
you
you for
soon on the
having me.
next.
I really
You're
appreciate
so welcome.
it.
We will do this conversation again sometime this month. The goal is to have a conversation every Thursday for the whole month of March. So again, have a wonderful rest of your evening, and remember that you mean something to somebody. So you take care of yourself, and good night.